Magnificent record.
Lose it. We done waste like a bomber. Everything I go offer. Me I no go love another. She I the mad with another. We done waste like a bomber.
Ojugache Chenyueikoh Peter studied English common law and French civil law at the University of Yaounde SOA. He graduated with an LLB and subsequent studies for a maîtrise and droit in international business law. Later, he furthered studies at Shanghai Jiaotong University and was awarded an MBA-C Certificate, focusing on business administration from a Chinese perspective. He is a frequent speaker at conferences and events aiming at empowering youth and community life. He is passionate about adding value to the lives of people through technology and is excited to share his knowledge and insights through publications such as this. Ojugache C. Peter is founder of a few businesses. LelamalLittleTouch.org and See Go Kids International English are some of his brainchildren. He envisions and started these companies from the depth of his experience. Running a business in China has given him a full grasp of the business operation system in China alongside the business culture of the country. He also has a deeper understanding of multicultural team management, thanks to the various backgrounds of team at See Go Kids International. A Cameroonian living in Shanghai, China with his wife, Mrs. Chenyueikoh Peter, and 3 children, Chenyueikoh Glenn Ojugache, Chenyueikoh Dylan Bryce Anjoyang, and Chenyueikoh Estella Anyway Anway. In his free time, he enjoys playing soccer, shooting pools, visiting rural areas, and spending time with his family. I believe in changing the way e-commerce is limited to benefit a few while everyone else pays for it to exist.
Join us on the 2nd of October by 7 a.m. at Shanghai Jiading Marriott Hotel Courtyard, Huyi Highway 3101, for the book launch of I Thought It Was Over, Those Who Dare to Dream Big, by Ojugache Peter. Special guests include Emilia Bywaters, D. Inquitato, and Tony Parker. Don't miss out.
Oh, wow. Welcome, 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 family and friends. What an honor for us to have with us this evening an author, a very, very special author with the title of a book, I Thought It Was Over. I am so excited to be one of the first person to actually know more deeply about what this book is all about. And Bridge Afrique family, you are in this for a treat. Today, we are bringing to you our special author. Mr. Harry, can you tell us, first of all, your full name? And tell the world, tell our Bridge Afrique family who you are.
All right. Well, thank you. My name's Ojugache Chenyueikoh Peter. And people call me Harry Vista, because my name looks a little bit long. And I'm a Cameroonian living and working in Shanghai, and with my family. And I've been living and working in Shanghai for close to 10 years. And I also do writing as part of my job, and I do other businesses like a business platform which I also run. So that is me.
Okay, so for the sake of our interview today, could I just refer to you as Mr. Harry?
That is okay.
Okay, and you said you are originally from Cameroon. Are you from the French-speaking part or the English part of Cameroon?
I'm from the English-speaking part of Cameroon, precisely from the northwest region of Cameroon.
Okay, but I know you guys learn French in school, right?
That's correct. That's correct. We learn French in primary and middle schools, and we learn French along the line. And actually, I studied law in the French area of Cameroon.
Donc, vous parlez français.
Ouais, je peux parler un peu de français.
Well, Mr. Harry, without further ado, I thought it was over. So, why the title, I thought it was over? Why? Where did it come from? Did it fall from the sky? Is this something you've been thinking about? Tell us more, please.
Well, ever since I came up with this title, like everyone who goes over the book, either the proofreaders or the editors or whoever, they keep asking the question, well, it's a pretty catchy title, and how did they get it, and where is it coming from? But the thing is, the whole book is about a story of a protagonist who encounters lots of challenges, and every time he feels like it's over, but then it never gets over. So it's from that background of the scenes in the story and the encounters of the protagonist and everything that the title came out. And in the whole story, it's always like it's gonna be over. So that's where the title came from the reality of the whole.
This is not a particular incident that happened in your life specifically?
It is about a series of incidents that happened in my life specifically.
Okay. So it's about your life experience, and that's where you got that title. You thought it was, and can you give us a little insight? Is this from a spiritual point of view, or is this just in general your own logic, your own wisdom, and so is this background here set in terms of maybe church, religion, or what?
It is not from a specific spiritual point of view. It's not from any spirit. It's a whole journey of challenges and motivation in which the whole storyline is built on, and it comes through a whole process, and it's just being motivational and not actually spiritual. It just gives a process of motivation and challenges, overcoming challenges, and getting to the next. So it's a journey.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit how you got started, how you wrote? What did you follow a program, like maybe writing a chapter per day, or you just got up one day, went to the beach maybe for 2 weeks to write the book? Or how did you go about writing it?
Actually, it's not been a very quick thing to jump on it, write it, and get it out. It has always been in my mind. Like when I started encountering a bunch of challenges, I thought maybe I'd put it down, but then I didn't put it down because it wasn't. I just felt like it's a couple of them, but then at a certain time, more than 2 years, 3 years ago, or even 5 years ago, actually, I actually drew the outline of the storyline, the chapters, everything. I made a rough of it and put it down. And then when it was time to start writing, I actually went through what I had put down, and then it will give me the guide to reflect on the actual scenes, the actual things that happened at the time. It's like compiling a diary that has been standing in my safe for quite a time.
Compiling a diary. So this was like in the midst of COVID, correct?
Yep, during the COVID, that was the actual time that I had to sit down and put everything in writing. I had to sit down and go word for word and put it down from the beginning to the end. And then after the COVID, I still had to I got some moments which I had to break down and then stop and then come back to it. So, but it's during the COVID that I had to put it out there.
That's good. And when you were writing your book, did you have any resources that you were researching? Did you do any type of research, or everything is just from your personal experience?
There was no specific research. I had to go somewhere or to a library to get something out of it. It was actually from real-time experience that happened in real place and time. So there wasn't much of experience. It was more about meditation and digging deep into inner self to get to where what I want to move forward with, the next thing and the next thing.
Mm-hmm. So tell me one thing that you want the reader to take from this I Thought It Was Over, or maybe a couple of things. What is the main important thing for you? When I haven't grabbed a copy of the book yet. When I come to Shanghai on October 2nd at the book launch, I definitely will have my copy and be able to read it then. But without giving it away too much, what is your main underlining goal that you want the readers to take?
The key underlying thing is like the theme of the book. Like we split the whole chapter, the whole book is split into two parts. There is the first part and the second part, and the first part, each of it has a very key theme outlined at the end of the book. And in the process, in the whole process of the whole part of the story, there are sub-themes in the story. But the main theme in the first part is the need to go back to your roots, the need to respect where you're from, the need to always go back to those societies where you grew up but naked and the people saw you grow up for time, and then you grow out and went far wide, and it's always sometimes very important for you to take that journey back and go and impact the values of the people who raised you up where you grew up. That was one of the key things in the first part of it. And the second part of it, the key theme there is the need to resilience. Resilience is a key word to face challenges, because in the journey of life, in the process of growth and in the process of traveling through many places, there is a lot that you have to go out there, you learn, and then you have to face lots of challenges. You have to be resilient and persistent in order to move to the further steps. You know, like every moment, some things happen that make you feel like things are totally over, but then you have to pick up yourself, dust up, and move forward, because those are the key things, the key motivations that I would like people to get from this and have the strength to keep carrying on.
Very good. Resilience, and you want us to go back to the roots. You want us to go back to where we came from, because we are today because of where we have been. Yeah.
Stronger from its roots.
Yeah. I like that. You know, even my passport says I'm an American citizen, of course. But when I look at myself, everything that I do, I always make a joke, is that everything I do today, I learned it from my village in Congo. And people laugh at me. They say, come on now, you've been in America all your life. So what do you mean Congo? But our roots, we are today really a product of where we came from. You are so right on that. What is your favorite chapter in the book?
That's very important. Sometimes when we keep, with the American society and the American life, it's practically very difficult. It's so difficult for people who left Africa to even think of their roots. But usually, those of us who just migrated without carrying the passport of the new countries, it's pretty much easy. We could go back there quickly. But you, with the citizenships of other countries, sometimes there's a tendency to forget. There's a tendency to move on. There's a tendency to accept a new route. So, but I do encourage that people can take steps back. They go back to their roots, because
going back to your roots, that's so important. So when you look at the book, can you give us a quick outline of how you organize your chapters, and also tell us, of all those chapters, if you have to pinpoint on one being your favorite one, what would it be?
Well, the chapters, like I outlined the book into two parts, part one and part two. And the key part was the first part is like my life back from my roots up to when I left my roots, when I left Cameroon and started going to other countries. And then the second part of the book is the life after that. And in both parts, there are key chapters that are pretty much important, like valid chapters to me, very valid to me. In the part back, in the part one, there is the chapter where I like graduating from school and getting lost at of the beginning.
You graduated from school from, you mean in Africa?
Yeah, from the University of Yaounde. Yeah. And then it is seemingly difficult to get a job, or the thoughts of moving forward from there is almost practically impossible. And then I decided that I needed to move out of Cameroon. And before graduating, I had already built that the mind that it wouldn't be possible for me to waste my time trying to, fight into getting government positions or whatever. So I made up my mind that I had to leave. But it was quite challenging because my family wasn't that a rich family, and the directions, I had no friends or no brothers or sisters who had already left the country, or anyone who could give me a proper guide of where to go or the financial support. So that chapter was pretty touching to me because I decided I had to do it. I had to do it. And I started doing what I just got into doing the needful, moving from door to door and from embassy to embassy, seeking what I need to seek and getting what I require in order to get this goal of leaving the country. So I traveled to almost the embassy of almost every country in Cameroon. And I gave a knock on the door of the Chinese embassy. And that knock was the knock that changed it all, because it simplified everything for me. I talked to someone who answered the knock, and then it simplified everything and changed the whole course of my life from that moment. So that is a pretty important chapter.
Okay. So through that chapter, you relive the experience of trying to get out of Cameroon to go overseas. And at that time, were you already married then?
No, I wasn't married. I was just in the university. I was still studying at the university doing the maîtrise. And so I wasn't married. I was just alone and had to make the decision alone.
Wow. Wow. That is so touchy. And I know that when you read in it, it's just bringing back all those memories, all those struggles. But like you said, that knock on the door of the Chinese embassy, that changed your entire life. And that's why you are here today, 10 years later, now writing a book. Speaking of writing a book, who are your role models that influence you in writing?
When I was in the middle school, I read quite a lot of books when I was in the middle school and high school.
Yeah.
And one of the writers whose books, like I tried to find every book he wrote, although his life was not very long like an author. He wrote just a few books, was a Cameroonian. He was a Cameroonian. He's called Dr. Bernard Fallon. Dr. Bernard Fallon. He was actually a doctor in education, and he was a speaker of the National Assembly for a period of time, and he was in priestly ministry, but he didn't become a priest, and he never got married, had no children, but he was a doctor in academics, and he actually translated the Cameroon national anthem into English. I read a lot of his books, which were based on some kind of frustration being put out of the seminary education. However, his books are quite philosophical, and most of the realities in the books are quite reflective of the reality of the lives that we live. So I love his book. He was like an idol to me at that time of my life when I was reading. I went into searching for all his books and reading his creators and everything. And I quite enjoy it. It affected my view of literature and the view of philosophy. Yeah. And then
have you reached out to him since you've written your book?
No, he even passed away before I was born, like a few years before he died in 1986.
Oh, okay. But that's who influenced you, huh?
Yep, he actually influenced me a lot. Yeah.
Okay. You see, sometimes we don't even realize it. People learn what they live, or people from far away, even you now, as you are writing this book, other young people, or even older people in general, they're watching you through what you do and they're learning. It's surprising how we affect people. We influence other people's behavior by just doing what we do. Speaking of that, if you are speaking right now, suppose that today you go back to Yaounde and they ask you to be a guest speaker to a group of young people. What encouraging words could you give to them, those that are wanting to go in the business of writing books? How would that speech go?
Right. I will tell them that, well, especially if I go back to Yaounde and I'm talking to the people in that particular society, it would be different from talking to people maybe in China and in other places. But going back to my roots, to Cameroon, Yaounde, and talking to the children there, I will tell them that every step of their being, it's a whole book. It's a story. And I know exactly what challenges they are going through daily in order to live, in order to survive, in order to envisage themselves like great people or growing up and challenging the status quo. There will be a lot more to tell them, and the key word is do not ignore or do not neglect the little steps that you take, and do not neglect what you see with your eyes. That story may build up into the reality of the next generation. So I will encourage them to do it and to do it now, and just try to do it. Yeah, because that is the story the next generation would like to hear.
Okay, so this young writer wants to write a book. Give them 3 things. 1, 2, 3. What should they do in order to write that book? Just like you wrote your book. Tell them, step number 1, do this. Step number 2, do this. Step number 3. Because they don't know how to get started. Maybe this young kid, maybe it's from the suburb, the village or something, and they really want to become a writer. So give them the what is it called? The blueprint, the steps on how to go.
All right. The first thing I'll tell them is you got to read first.
Read first. Okay. What would you suggest to them to go read? Read what?
Okay. Every book has a lot to offer. When you read a book, there is a direction there is knowledge you might want to get from the book. Sometimes you read a book in order to get just the language, the diction of the story. How does the author present a specific story?
Okay.
So read purpose. And then read a book.
Read first. Like read how many books? 1, 2, 3 or?
When you read a couple of books, you will certainly like a style of book or a direction of book or a specific author's writing style, which will make you reading that, because that's going to be your guide. That's going to be the kind of thing you want to emulate. So you have to focus on getting exactly how he puts the language and how he brings out the logic in the story and how he presents his plot from the beginning to the end. So the first step will be requiring every kid to read as many books as you can. And when you read a book, be very sure you know what you want to get from the book. Maybe just the storyline, maybe the vocabulary style, or maybe the logic of presentation. So that will be the first thing. And then the second thing I will require them to do is make sure that you write down. Make sure to write down daily. what strikes you, what what you can visualize from your process of life, of every day. Yeah.
In other words, take notes. Take notes.
Yeah, take notes and make sure that those notes never get lost, because they will remind you of everything that you've gone through and what you've read. And make sure that you take a period. And one of the things that I also recommend is, the key thing is, do it. Do the writing. It must not be perfect, because if you wait to get a perfect writing out there, I think you will never do it at all. You only keep waiting and getting ready and preparing. But just try to do it. It's not for anybody else, because sometimes we believe that we believe that people should write, not us, right? We believe that a writer should be out there. They shouldn't be us. So just put it out there, because the evaluation of what you're doing cannot be done by you. Maybe when you take that first step out, the evaluation comes back and you realize that that could be a potential in you that you need to exploit. So do the writing and publish anyway, and get the feedback and keep fighting for it to go, because if you got to do it, you do it. Yeah.
So you want them to read as many books as they can, and you want them to take notes. So those notes are related to what their writing is about, pretty much. And then just jump into it, just write. Don't even worry about it. Just write and publish.
Just write, and once you finish writing, the rest of the world will help you take care of that. The publishers, the editors, they will begin to push in the best thing that you want to take out of it.
Okay. Speaking of editing, in this world nowadays of the AI, how do you feel about having AI edit a person's writing?
There are different kinds of, if I might say, I would say that there are different kinds of write-ups. And AI cannot actually bring up a memoir or some story of a person. There is what we call a raw content of your story. The AI cannot give that out. The AI cannot. So when you are, like every author now, everybody could jump on ChatGPT and get a story done. You could get out of ghostwriters and get a story done. But when you want to write a story that is actually unique, with a lesson, a theme that can be taken home, I think it has to be based on your own mind, your own thought. Because when it comes, even business books, if you write a business book, of course, you can get every material about business from online. But if you're writing a business book, you're touching a specific experience that is directly related to what is happening, and which is beyond the imagination of AI itself. I'm sure that will pretty much be a real story. So when you're writing some deep realities, the AI cannot assist you to get that real story out, the raw story itself. Yeah, it can only assist you to structure it, big sentences or whatever. So I would tell everyone to, you must write before you engage AI for other purifications.
But once you have written your raw story, is it okay then to have like a Grammarly help you, edit those grammars? And wouldn't that be the same thing as handing your copy to an editor and have them manually edit it?
There is an understanding of your writing from a different perspective, your settings and your themes and your philosophy and your thoughts, that an editor, a human editor, will understand better than an AI. AI will.
Go ahead.
AI will do the corrections in a very standard and classic way, but there is a thing that you write that the AI will not assimilate, because you are touching some realities. AI gives a general perspective of every human situation, but a writer will be specifying into specific issues and theme and settings. So the AI will help you fix it in. If the time you spend in working with an AI, to get the originality of your work will be more than the one that an editor with a human mind will sit on your work.
Okay, okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
If I had to live my life without you near me, the days would all be empty. The night.
Yaounde Villa et Ligny Amusement Park dans la province de Shandong, en Chine, offrent une zone de retraite surréaliste au milieu des paysages naturels. Cette villa offre une oasis tranquille avec des verdures luxuriantes, des ruisseaux cristallins, des vues à couper le souffle et une variété d'hébergements de luxe. Le parc dispose de pistes à roulettes, de diapositives et d'espaces thématiques. Yaounde Villa offre aux voyageurs une occasion unique de se plonger dans la beauté naturelle de la campagne chinoise. Venez vous détendre dans ce lieu surréaliste et ne manquez pas ce cadeau de vie naturelle. Plus d'informations sont affichées sur votre écran.
So what you're saying is the human editor puts in that human touch.
That's right.
Whereas the AI is just artificial, randomly putting words together with no feelings.
That is correct. That's correct.
We know. Well, listen, how can Bridge Afrique assist you in this journey of yours of book launching and also advertising your book to the world? And how can we, Bridge Afrique family, assist you?
The book is out there. The first thing I will plead on the Bridge Afrique family is to go over the book, read the book, get to know exactly what the story is, and see how it reflects in the lives of the people, their audience, because it's a purely African-based story from a struggling background to rising to through many challenges. And this is not a single man's journey. I'm just the writer of this story, but the audience of Bridge Afrique will actually reflect themselves in this story a lot, because we all have that common reality. So with this, Bridge Afrique can continue to promote more readers of the book, to get more readers, people to read the book, in order to get that resilience, to get that courage to carry on with your lives. And Bridge Afrique is the platform. We can work together to keep promoting the book, to make it go forward, and to make more readers. And Bridge Afrique, after going through the book, they could come up with suggestions on what we can do, or maybe some of anything that they can come up with, we can try to fix it in order to push it forth and be like what we are doing together, like a team with Bridge Afrique. So I think with the interviews, they have started a lot already. They are doing a lot already. Mr. Michael already talked to me and gave suggestions and produced a video that is circulating already and fixed up this interview we are taking right now. I think that is already in the journey of supporting an African writer from his own platform. And I do appreciate that. And then secondly, it's not only Harry that is going to be an author or something here. I do hope that Bridge Afrique could extend its reality to give, to take care of the African community, especially the Black community and the African community in general. because at some point I feel like nobody takes care of them. And when no one takes care of them, they can't lift any degree of their potentials out of there. They're barely striving, surviving, and pushing forth daily. So there must be that big coverage, a platform that helps to take care of them in order to give them that reality of, especially in China, that circle, that reality to make them come out of their potentials. Many people are not trying much because the hustling is tough.
So you want Bridge Afrique to just continue to help you promote the book and, through word of mouth even, encourage other expats especially, or English speaker people to purchase your book and so on. And how did you publish your book, by the way?
I publish it on Amazon, Kindle.
Is it self-publishing?
Publishing, yeah, self-publishing. So I didn't intend, almost all advice from my editors in the USA was to do self-publishing, that I should do self-publish. So I did publish it there, and in Cameroon, I just published it with the local publishing government. And in China, I have done the translation already and submitted for publishing in the Chinese publishing house, and the process has been taking like 6 months now. But you
published in one language only, in English, correct?
Chinese as well.
Oh, Chinese as well. Okay. And what about French?
The French, I will publish in French as well. I will do the translation and do publishing in Cameroon in French as well.
Okay, great. And maybe this question here is too far ahead, but have you thought in your mind to have a sequel of I Thought It Was Over?
Actually, there is at the ending of the book, at the end of this story comes with, it was just a thought. It was just a thought. It was over. It's never over. We're going to move on and see what comes next. That's how it ends. But it's just a beginning, it's a step, because I was encouraged by the reviews from the various editors, because I picked editors from America, I picked editors from Cameroon, and I also picked editors from French-speaking Cameroon. Some of them, I was picking these areas to make sure that, and also an editor from China who went through the story before it went into the Chinese system. So the reviews from them is quite like, oh, why don't you write? Why don't you write more? The story is quite catchy and stuff like that. They keep encouraging. So I think I will do a continuation of the writing. But
yeah, good. Yay!
It's kind of story. But I actually have a business book that is almost out as well. It was supposed to be published before this one, but I held it back to do this and clear this out first, and then I will be published as well soon.
What angle of business? Marketing, sales, whatever?
I don't get
what angle? What angle of business?
Money, like entrepreneurship.
Ah, okay. That sounds very good. That sounds very good. And how did your family in Cameroon, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, how are they reacting to all this new phase of Harry?
My dad was actually one of the persons I had him read the book first, proofread the book at the beginning, because
really,
yeah. The key reason is that some of the things in the story are typically traditional issues back in Cameroon, and I wanted him, who understands better, to look at them and be sure that I put them down in the right language, or I use the right things, I will say it correctly. So I had to make him go over it and then write a little review or report about it or a suggestion. And he did correct it. And some of the things that I wrote about, maybe about him, mentioning his name and stuff, he said, no, it was not this year, it was that year. So
Father
So,
always telling children what to do. Yeah.
some of them
Yeah.
I say, "Ah, allow it like that. It doesn't really matter that much." And I let him do that because, yeah, I wanted first to make sure that I didn't write things that will cut across the Cameroonian political system, because those are very rife guys. They don't want you to
Yeah.
write negative about them. So that's why I picked editors from Cameroon, because I wrote a lot about school life there and life there and the challenges there. And we all know who is causing it and stuff. So I wanted them to read it and then say, okay, it's fine, no problem. Because they say, oh, no, don't do this. They'll be chasing you around, stuff like that. So I wanted to make sure that those are done. But my family in general, as soon as I completed the first dummy and stuff, I sent it back home, and a couple of them home, and people, they read it. They were like, okay, please and done. Well, they always believed in me that I could do even more. So
What
it
about your
was.
mom?
My mom was so excited about it. And my mom was so excited about it, and she said, "Let the try to distribute it. Let people read this." Yeah, those
Hmm.
who let people
Well,
read it.
I don't want you to give it all away, because at the book launches, that's when everyone really will come to the realization of what content you have put in there. But just to give our viewers, just to give them a little meat here, talk to us about one incident in that book. Elaborate a little more on when you thought it was over.
um, there are so many incidents there that, like in the process of writing, that were really touching, that made me suspend the work. But then it's a whole bunch of, I thought it was over situation, series of it. But then I could just give one that was so basic and a little bit short, so that you can go discover these ones. But the one I'm giving is just like the one I'm talking about right now is something that was, well, just a smaller one. Was my when I first got to China, I was working with a newspaper in Beijing as an
In
editor.
Beijing?
Beijing, yeah. Yeah, I was
Really?
working. Yes, that's right. I
Oh,
was working the newspaper in Beijing, Chaoyang area, Chaimanjie specifically. I worked there for
I
about
live
3
in
years.
Chaoyang. Yeah.
Good. So I had always lived with the like, my personality is, I go get the things I want. I don't wait anyway. That's what I try to do all the time. So
You a
when I got,
go-getter.
yes, go get it. That's it. So when I got here, I usually look for employment. I usually sit on the computer when I see maybe Africans, or look for jobs online for them, because I was working in the newspaper. Sometimes I could get relaxation time. I'll just go on job hunt, try to build resumes for friends and people I know, and send them online, and then get jobs for them and help them get jobs. I usually did that a lot. So when people begin to know, Africans and foreigners, not only Africans, begin to notice me, most of them started hanging very close to me. And then they started living with some who lost their homes and stuff, started living with me. So that was
You
one of,
became a role model.
yes, they started living in my place. So like one day I went for work at the newspaper, and then they were home, like three of them, and others came in from Italy. They were staying together, and then they started cooking. And something happened. They went out to see up a friend and delayed there, while there was a pot in the fire burning. And when they were
Oh no,
leaving,
I can see it happening.
when they were leaving, they banged the door. And you know the China doors, when we bang them, you don't go back in without a key.
Yeah.
So the pot went on fire. The whole place was smoking out. And when
Oh
they
my
came back,
God. And they don't, this is not a place like America where every apartment has a fire extinguisher. I
but they
mean,
couldn't
fire alarm system.
fire
Yeah.
alarm. Yeah. they couldn't get in because the door was banged out. So they were at the door, frustrated, nobody to go in, and the situation kept getting worse. And the smoke came out, and the people in the community all rushed out. When they called me, I ran back home, and I saw the smoke coming out, and I used my spare key, opened the door, jumped into the house, and turned off the gas. I thought it was over.
Oh my God. Everything would have been over. Wow.
I only regretted that when I left, when I had come out. I thought, like, what did I just do?
Your life could have been over. Oh my God. That
was
is
quite.
And so after that, did you continue to have people over? Or you told them it's over?
No, it wasn't over yet. They all were crying and weeping and just confused the whole night. They got back home. Everybody went quiet the whole night. The next day, I went back to work, and it went back to normal. Everybody learned a bitter lesson. They learned a lesson. Everybody grew up. I mean, that is.
Well, why didn't you guys like, okay, so like in America, if such a thing happened, I will grab the phone, call 911. The fire department will be there in a minute, and everything will be over. But why couldn't you guys call the police?
They called, actually, and it was taking longer. And then the guy who came to take care of that was getting longer. So it was getting, I was there waiting for them to open the door and turn it over, but it took longer. So I thought, I can't just wait, just do it. That's what happened. We were waiting for them to get there, but I called a quick person to come and open the door quickly, and then I just went in. So we couldn't wait. And I thought if we waited, it would have been over for real.
So when that happened, what did your landlord say?
He didn't even know.
But what? Your landlord is going to read this book, your former landlord, and they will see what happened. So he didn't even know, the police did not alarm him, huh?
No, they didn't alarm because the fire went off. The only thing that was roasted was the pot and the content. And that's why it didn't go into the catastrophe, into a disaster. Because had it roasted the place in general, it would cost a bit. Yeah, I couldn't have been able to go in there outside to play the hero thing. So.
Wow. Well, thank you. So everybody was safe. Nothing was over. Life went on, and here you are, and you wrote the book. I thought it was over. I think that title, like you said earlier at the beginning, I think all of us have experiences when we thought it was over. We can all relate to the title of your book.
That is true. I really want everyone to relate to it. I feel like, because we all have this, but we all have this situation.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to come to Shanghai. It just happened that week I'm actually off of October 2nd, so it's perfect. I'm glad you picked that date because you knew it was a holiday, right?
Yeah, I knew it was a holiday, and I really wanted to start pushing it out earlier so that everyone makes a plan around that. So that's why I picked 1 month earlier to start talking about it.
Okay. So give our readers and our prospective readers one last word. Why should they buy your book?
One last word. Why should they buy my book? We all need motivation to move forward. We are all facing challenges daily. We all meet situations, circumstances that make us feel low, and we need a companion. We need someone to talk to. We need to feel that we are not all alone in a journey of this nature. So reading this book makes you feel that I am with you. The protagonist is with you in all your endeavors and all your failures and all the moments that you feel low to pick up. Some of the situations, some of the circumstances in the story may be much more difficult than most of you have passed through, but that can give you a motivation that you are just in the journey and it's never going to be over. So everyone having this book can hold it like a manual, a motivational manual that can keep him going, keep him or her going in every challenge we meet, because the journey is a journey of life. It's always going to be there. We all have to be resilient and keep it going. That's all I want to say. And I hope you grab a copy, keep it with you, and always go to it and get that motivation, that strength to carry on.
Thank you so much. And I will see you in Shanghai on October 2nd on behalf of on behalf of the Bridge Afrique family. We thank you for giving us this opportunity to be able to get in your mind and soul and your heart on why you wrote this book and what the content of the book is. Thank you so much, Mr. Harry.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for giving me the chance to talk with you here. And thanks, Bridge Afrique, for organizing this and setting this up. Thank you so much. That's all I can say.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Always like a bomber, everything I go offer, me I no go